We have breaking news out of Ukraine as Russia is bombarding the southern port city of Odessa for the third night in a row. You can see this extraordinary video just in from CNN's team. It shows Ukraine's air defense working to repel these Russian attacks. CNN's Alex Marquardt joins me live from Odessa. Alex, what have you been seeing on the ground as this is the third night in a row that we know this has happened? And is there a sense of what kind of weaponry that Russia is using here?
This was a city that was already on edge after 2 nights of extraordinarily intense, ferocious attacks by Russia. This city wondering whether it would happen for a third night in a row. That answer coming just before 2 a.m. with an attack that lasted around an hour and 45 minutes, arguably the most intense yet in terms of the weaponry that we saw on display tonight. It did start the same way that the last 2 nights have, with air raid sirens warning citizens of this city that an attack was coming. Then we started to see those red tracer rounds from the air defenses firing up into the sky, lighting up the night sky, looking for drones to take down. There were spotlights that were searching for drones. We saw interceptor rockets taking off with and presumably hitting things, because there were huge explosions in the sky that cast this huge glow all across this city that eventually went dark, all of the lights being turned off, presumably for security reasons. But the reason that this does appear to have been more intense tonight was because of the variety of cruise missiles, at least 3 different kinds of cruise missiles Russia used, including the much feared Kinzhal missile, which has a warhead of 1 ton. We know that Russia sent up at least 8 long-range supersonic strategic bombers to fire these cruise missiles. And then very notably, we know that in all of these attacks, drones were used, but this was the first time that we heard these drones so close. They sound like huge mosquitoes flying very close to the buildings. What the targets were, what the damage was, that we don't know. The sun is just coming up, but I think it is fair to say that these last 3 nights have represented the most serious, most intense attacks on Odessa since this war began last year.
It's been a month since this failed insurrection, and this is the first evidence we're seeing of the militia on the ground.
First actual view of what we believe to be Wagner fighters. I want to show you some of those images to try and explain what we're seeing. This is satellite imagery that shows, I think you can see sort of the road looping around there. That's an off-ramp from a highway heading in to this military base in Belarus. There you can see a line of cars along that straight road through the middle of the picture heading in to the base there. We believe those are cars related to the Wagner private military company, because our team has managed to match them up with social media video previously posted showing a line of cars, a convoy, this is it, stopped on a highway in Russia flying Wagner flags. Now, what's striking about this one, the sheer number of these vehicles, that we think there's about 115 different vehicles in this convoy. Separately from that, we've been able to geolocate 2 more social media videos showing new convoys, each of them with around 100 or so vehicles on highways in Russia heading we believe, towards Belarus. So this suggests that Wagner fighters are now building up their numbers at this previously abandoned camp in Belarus. Our team has visited this camp just a couple of weeks ago, found that there weren't any Wagner fighters there at that point. So this appears to be a relatively new development. We did have reporting around this. The Ukrainian border guards said on Saturday they believed that Wagner was already in Belarus. Belarus itself has said that Wagner is training its forces. But it's important because even though, President Putin says Wagner doesn't exist, it hints at potentially, they're now close to the Ukrainian border, a future role in that conflict, also a destabilizing force in the region. So definitely want to keep watching.